Alright, so welcome to this video. I hope you're having a good Friday. And if you found yourself a little lost this week in class, hopefully this video will clear up some things. If you were absent this week, then watching these videos might be a good idea for you to do so that you can catch up this coming week. The first thing that we talked about this week was simplifying square roots. And we talked about having some perfect squares. So what is a perfect square? Well, a perfect square is simply just a number times itself, and it produces another number. So for instance, 1 squared, 1 times 1 is just 1. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is just 4. 3 squared, you kind of get the idea. 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 4 is 16, and so on. And so what we end up doing is we end up producing a list of certain numbers. The numbers that I'm underlining here, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, these numbers are all perfect squares. So when I ask you to find the square root of a number, what I'm really asking you to do is find the number that when you multiply it by itself or to itself, you get back that number. So for instance, let's just dive in right away. So let's look at our first example, the square root of 9. So what number times what number gives us 9? Well, if we look at our list, 9 is on our list. In fact, 9 is sitting right here. And so what number times itself, or what number squared, gives us 9? Well, the number squared that gives us 9 is 3. So we say the square root of 9 is 3. And if we continue and look at example number 2, well, we see the square root of 20. And if you look at our list, we have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, but I have no 20. So when we run into a problem like this, let me just scoot this up a little bit. When we run into a problem like this where 20 is not on our list, what we need to do is go ahead and break up this problem with a number that is on our list. In other words, we need to break this up using a perfect square. So if we think about 20, let's just get the factors of 20 really quick. 20 is 1 times 20, 2 times 10, and 4 times 5. Now, are any of these numbers in our list? Well, if you look a little closely, you'll see that 4 is on our list. 4 is sitting right here. So 4 will work, and we can break up 20 using 4 and 5. So I can say that the square root of 20 is really equal to the square root of 4 times 5. And then what I can go ahead and do is continue to break this up even more into the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. So I just kind of split things up there. And then easily enough, the square root of 4, we know that the square root of 4 is sitting in our list of numbers. It is a perfect square. So what number squared gives us 4? Well, the square root of 4, if we look at our list, corresponds to a 2. So the square root of 4 is just 2. And the square root of 5, again, we can't simplify that anymore, so we leave that alone. And there is our answer, 2 square root of 5. Let's do another. So here we have the square root of 45. Now again, if we look at our list, we see that 45 is not on there. I mean, we have 49 and then we have 36, but 45 is missing, right? So what that tells me is that I need to break up 45 using one of these other numbers. So 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and so on. Well, let's just get the factors, or a couple of factors of 45. So what times what is 45? Well, we could do, let's see, 1 times 45, right? The number's not even, so we can't do 2. I think we can do 3. So let's see. 3 times a number gives me 45. So let's see. 3 goes into 4 one time. That's going to leave me with 15. So it looks like 3 times 15 is 45. What else? Let's see. We can definitely do 5 times 9. 5 times 9 is 45. And if you look very, very closely, we have the number 9. The number 9 we know is a perfect square. Right? It's sitting in our list. So I can go ahead and break up the 45 into the square root of 9 times 5. I mean, 9 times 5 is 45. So we're not doing anything illegal here. We're simply just simplifying it or rewriting 45 another way. So again, we have the square root of 9. I'm going to break this up, square root of 5. And well, what is the square root of 9? The square root of 9 we know is just 3. And again, the square root of 5 just stays there. I only have 3 examples for this video, but let's have a little bit more fun. Let's go ahead and add another example, and I'm going to write it up here. So let me just go ahead and put it in. So number 4. Alright, so problem number 4, let's do the square root of, let's see, what number do I want to do? Let's do 32. Okay, so the square root of 32. Again, 32 is not on our list of perfect squares, so I'm going to have to break this sucker up. So 32, if you think about the factors of 32, well, we have 1 times 32. We have 2 times, let's see, 16. And we can probably keep going. We can do 4. We can do 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is also 32. And if you look at these numbers carefully, you notice that 16 is on our list, right? 16 is sitting right here. Also, 4 is on our list. So now we have a choice. We can break this 32 up using 2 times 16, or we can break the 32 up, using 4 times 8. I always tell my students, use the biggest number, because if you use 4 times 8, then you might have to do an extra step and break it down even further. So between 16 and 4, the larger number is 16. So let's just break it up using that 16 instead of that 4. So we now have 16 times 2, and then we have the square root of 16, square root of 2, and we end up with square root of 16 corresponds to 4, so it's 4 square root of 2. Hope this helps. Hope you can try some of those practice problems that I gave you on that worksheet and go ahead and catch yourself up. I'll see you in class, and I'll be posting some more videos soon.